Teaching commands from a distance is something everybody wants to be able to teach their dog, and it's something that you need your dog to be able to perform if you're doing any form of competitive obedience, especially a sport such as French ring that has a change of position exercise where you're far away from your dog and all you can do is give them verbal commands based on what you're being told to give them. Sit, down, and stand, each position going into the other position. There's two ways that I like to do this, or really there's three ways. One is going to be where I'm using food to reward the dog. So I'll stand in front of my dog. I have my dog on a climb command. I say sit. I walk towards my dog. I cue my dog into position. Yes, reward. I build distance again. Down. I walk towards my dog. I use the food to cue the dog into the position. I keep doing this. We don't have to run towards the dog. Remember the domino effect. We give the command, then we move to execute the command with our physical cue, which is the dominoes falling over. We place the dog into position. We mark the reward. That's the last domino falling over. We completed the behavior. We made the connection. And we keep doing that and we start to build distance. And before you know it, you give the dog command. Before you even starting to walk towards them, they're already going into position. That's going to be using reward-based training and doing it by yourself. The next one is going to be doing the exercise but using pressure-based training, so just a leash. So I have a longer leash, I say sit, I cue the dog, they go into the sit, yes, reward. I step back, down, I cue the dog, they go into the position, yes, reward. And continuing to do this and building distance before you know it, you no longer need the long line. One of my favorite ways to do this is using a helper. So I have a helper with the dog already knows the leash pressure, I stand a certain distance away, I simply stand there, I give the commands, sit, my helper will cue the dog into the sit, and then I will say yes, and they will reward the dog for me. And I will go through each position with the dog at a distance using my helper to help me get the dog to understand this position. This is a great way to do it. It's good to do all of them though, really, if you're doing competitive obedience, because you want your dog to understand that they have to do the commands not just when somebody is standing there making them do it. You want them to do it whether or not somebody's standing there. So let me show you exactly how to start teaching your dog commands from a distance. All right, so for this exercise, you want to make sure you have an assistant, and this is going to do a couple things. One, it's going to help us teach commands from a distance. And number two, it's going to reduce the possibility of you messing up your timing. And the reason why this is possible is I'm going to be giving the commands, but she's going to be executing the physical cue to get the dog to perform the behavior. I will be marking the behavior, and then she will be rewarding Derby. So it's a very simple exercise. I give the command, she does the cue, I mark, she rewards. Okay? And I'm going to show you, or we're going to show you, how to do this. So I'm going to give her some treats. And you can start closer if you want and build distance as your dog gets better. But I'm going to stand here and give commands. So Erica's ready to execute the commands using the leash pressure. Down. Yes. Good boy. And she's also there to reinforce no if he makes a mistake. Good. Sit. Yes. Good job, bud. No. Good. Off. Yes. Good boy. You want to come running over to me? Sit. Yes. Climb. Yes. Good boy, Derby. Sit. Yes. No. He has a tendency to really look for pieces. There we go. No. Help him with the food if he needs it. There we go. Good. Perfect. Drop one. Down. Then she does the cue. Yes. Then the reward. No. Good boy. Sit. Yes. Good. No. Off. Yes. Good. Sit. It fell through the crack. It's okay. You guys are going to drop food on occasions. No big deal. Yes. Down. Climb. Yes. And then after you do a little short session, then go ahead and switch positions, just like this. So now she's going to give the commands, and I'm going to execute the physical cue.
Down.
Yes. Oh, wait, sorry. See, she's supposed to say yes.
Off. Yes. Down. Yes. Sit. Yes. No. Climb. Yes. Down. Yes. Sit. Yes. Off. Yes. Down. Yes. Climb. Yes. Sit. Yes. No. No. Up. Yes. Down. Yes. Sit. Yes. Climb. Yes.
All right, excellent. All done, break. So as you can see, it's a really easy exercise. And once again, it helps with giving the dog commands from a distance. And number two, it reduces the likelihood of you pairing your physical with your verbal, which will increase the speed in which your dog learns these commands. Sometimes you're not going to have a training partner to help you do a change of position exercises from a distance. So we can start giving our dog commands from a distance, but we're going to want to start really close. So what we're going to do is we're going to start close to our dog where our dog is used to hearing our commands. I like to either place my dog on a back tie or place my dog on a climb bed like Ari is right here. So I'm going to block the sun so it's not blasting in her eyes, and I'm going to give her the command, down, and then I would give her the cue and reward. Sit, then the cue and reward. You can see she's already doing it. But when you first start it, even if your dog knows the commands from this position when you're right up next to them, as you build distance, it could be a little confusing for them. So once we give the command, we start with the physical cue. Stand, then I come in and I help her. Come on, Harry. Yes, reward. Sit, then the cue. Yes, reward. And each time we're going to build more distance. Down, then I would do the cue and build more distance. So what I'm going to do for instructional purposes, we're going to start back up here. Just like in the other video, I'm going to name these commands using different colors. So I'm going to do red, blue, and green again because I want you to see how I would actually present the physical cue had she not known the commands as well as she does. Red. Yes, reward. Blue. Yes. Green. Yes. Building distance. Red. Yes. Blue. No. Green. Yes. Red. Yes. Green. Yes. Blue. Yes. Green. Yes. Climb. So we're going to keep giving the commands and helping out as much as we need so our dog can start to understand what it is we're asking them to perform. So eventually you can be far away and you're going to be able to give your dog the commands and they'll be able to execute them beautifully. Sit. Stand. Down. Stand. Sit. Free. Good girl. And I was able to teach her that using the technique that I just showed you.